Hello, this is Charlie again, and following on from that last lesson where we spoke about the most amazing system that controls what you think and how you feel. So, the nervous system, the reason why we're here. Now, this lesson is really important. Why is it really important? Because what I'm about to teach you plays a major influence on how well your nervous system is operating. And what you need to know here is that you can practice this skill repetitively and get very good at it, and it will change your life. And what I'm talking about here is the process of reframing, okay? The ability to reframe meaning. Now, earlier we spoke about the different systems in the body. And I think most people would be fairly familiar with what immediate action you need to take if there was a problem with any particular system. So, for example, if you tore a muscle, obviously, stop moving that muscle and elevate, rest, ice, elevation. And if you broke a bone in your skeletal system, well, obviously you'd take all pressure off that bone and not move it until you get a cast on it. Now, if your doctor told you had cardiovascular issues or cardiovascular disease, you would most likely get immediately onto a high fiber diet to rid cholesterol and fats in the veins around your heart. I'll come back to the nervous system, but respiratory system. If you were having trouble breathing, an essential requirement for life, you'd take immediate action. If you're a smoker, you would stop smoking. Urinary system. If you were constipated or you were unable to go to the toilet, you'd take immediate action and go to the doctor or take a diuretic, something like that. So let's just go back to the nervous system. Now, as I said, nervous system controls what we think and how we feel. And ultimately, we want to feel good in our lives. Not spend most of the time walking around with a chip on our shoulder and not feeling good about the future. That's not as enjoyable as a different approach. So with your nervous system, if I went and asked 10 people, what immediate action would you take to address your nervous system if it wasn't operating correctly? Now, we've spoken about one already in this course, and that, of course, was getting some exercise, getting out and moving your body, because your body and your mind are connected in a cybernetic loop. Now, to get more control of your nervous system, what we need to do is often reframe meaning. Now, I'll give you an example. For some people, when it's raining, it's a sad thing. Yet other people will find reason to sing. Some people will just go and hang out and enjoy it. So, anything is only good or bad because of the meaning you give to it. Now, here's a little game for you. Now, what is 5 good things that come as a result of breaking both your legs? You might say, Charlie, that'd be terrible. Breaking your legs would be. But what I'm trying to teach you here is, is there any other angles we can look at where this may be of a benefit? So let's have a think just for a second. The most immediate and obvious one that comes to my mind is the question, how is this a good thing? So if you want to reframe, ask this question. Write this one down, imprint this question, in your mind, because this is a great question to ask for the rest of your life. So, 5 good things that come as a result of breaking both your legs. Well, the first one, you can catch up on Netflix. If there's movies that you like to watch and you haven't been able to, well, now is your time. No more house chores. No more cooking or cleaning. No more dragging yourself to the gym. You can stay home with a clear conscience knowing you cannot go. And of course, you don't have to go anywhere. So there's 5 good things that come out of breaking both your legs. So it's not all bad, is it? It'd be painful, it'd take its time, but it's not all bad. We found this out by asking that question, how is this a good thing? Right, so let's take another one. What is 5 great things that come as a result of breaking up with your girlfriend? Again, ask yourself the question, how is this a good thing? Now, if you've broken up with your girlfriend, think about it. Well, if you weren't married, it's a lot easier. That's a good thing. You're probably clearer on what it is that you don't want in a partner now. So you've learned a little bit about women. You're not going through divorce or no lawyers. Well, that is a good thing. And hopefully you have not produced children as yet, because if you have, you are bound to that person, really, for the rest of your life. And of course, if you're broken up with your girlfriend, one of the positive things that come out of that is you'll spend more lads' time while you're getting over it. Yeah, of course, there is also a chance that you might get someone even better looking. And of course, you're one step closer to the one. That's a good thing. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 good things that come out of breaking up with your girlfriend. Let's up the ante a little bit. What are 5 great things that come as a result of breaking up with your wife? Ask yourself the question again, how is this a good thing? You know, some people will have difficulty answering this, some people it'll come straight to them. You know, one good thing about breaking up with your wife is that you're going to have time now to discover who you are again. You know, you might have been in 20 years as part of a couple, and all of a sudden you decide everything about your life. No more negotiations or discussions, no more halfway, you do what you like. And if you have broken up with your wife, well, at least you didn't wait another 5 years before you decided. And that's a good thing. The kids are old enough to understand. That's a good thing. Maybe the kids are young enough not to understand. That's a good thing. You both have a chance, again, to find happiness. Well, that is a good thing. So here we are, breaking up with the wife, and some good things come out of it. Yeah, no more nagging. Okay, Gonski. And you can do what you want, when you want. And that is a good thing. So how is it a good thing to have trouble with any of these? And again, you want to be a little bit, you know, comedic, if you like. Add a little bit of a gag in there. Put a smile on your face with your humour. You know, how is it a good thing to have anxiety? Well, anxiety only ever happens in the future. So it doesn't happen in the past, it doesn't affect the past. It's only a future-based concept. So it's only one half of the record. Okay, depression. You know, how could it be a good thing to have depression? Well, if you have depression today instead of 5 years ago, you've got more support today than you ever had before. And if you're facing unemployment, how is that a good thing? Well, it's a reminder that you may need to up your skill set, grow, learn, change. And if you have trouble in social situations, well, you know, the good thing about having trouble with social situations is, you know, you only have to learn a couple of skills and you'll get right on top of that one. That's an easy one. Substance addiction. Well, you know, some people are gambling and losing money. Substance addiction, those guys are probably having a good time at least. Divorce and separation. Well, the arguments and the fighting are going to come to an end. That's a good thing. If you're part of a dysfunctional family, how could that be a good thing? Well, if you can learn from the errors of your parents and you can change, you can stop passing on this, not sure if this is even a word, dysfunctionality of your family at the next generation. That'll be in your hands. That's a good thing. And if you've got thoughts of self-harm, how is that a good thing? Well, at this stage, they're just thoughts. You know, just, again, think of the angle you can put this on. If you've lost a loss of self-respect, how can that be a good thing? Well, maybe now you understand the value of holding your self-respect, and that is a good thing. If you've got a loss of confidence, Well, how's that a good thing? Well, when you lose it, you won't be sure you've lost it. I mean, are you confident that you've lost your confidence? If you're affected by domestic abuse, how could that be a good thing? Well, domestic abuse is happening domestically. At least you know where it is. You know where it happens. And yeah, there is a growing outrage in this country about domestic violence. So that is a good thing. Alcoholism. Well, the good thing with alcoholism, that these guys aren't breaking the law. And if you've lost your self-worth, well, even though it's low, you know, self-worth might be low, you still have it. Okay, so, you know, anything can be reframed. Anything can be looked at from a different angle. Yeah, if you're affected by loneliness, yeah, you don't need your friends to do that. You can just do that all on your own. That's a good thing. And paranoia. I mean, what's good about paranoia? Well, if you've got paranoia, you can go back and check again and again, check again and check again. That's important for the person with paranoia. And that's a good thing. You know, so you get what I mean. Let's flip it the other way. What are 5 bad things that come as a result of winning $5 million? Well, yeah, reappearance of old relatives. Acquaintances are going to turn up wanting to be friends. You're going to have to learn some money skills if you want to keep the 5 mil. You can start stressing about losing it. And we're doing it the other way this time. It's going to be harder to tell who your friends are with $5 million. So you can reframe, you can put a spin on it, on anything bad or anything good. So understand this timeline of change. You know, if there's one skill that I'd really love you to really embrace and really go out there and give it a go, and keep asking that question, how is this a good thing? And find the angle how something bad may be okay in looking at it a certain way. But if you do this, and you keep asking yourself, how is this a good thing? So at the moment, you may be automatically seeing the glass half empty. Okay? That might be coming natural to you at the moment. And essentially, it's the people that do see the glass half empty that are the ones that should really go through this process. So what happens? If you've had a bad run, it's pretty typical that you start seeing the glass half empty. This happened, and this happened, and this happened. You know, what's the use of trying? But we start this process and things start to change. And this is how it happens. So after 2 to 5 days, for the first 2 to 5 days, you know, you'll see something and your normal old pattern will go, you know, as if it's a bad thing. Because you're doing the exercise, you're then going to realize that you need to reframe that. You reframe it. After you've automatically framed it up negatively, you frame it up positive. And it starts becoming easier because you start becoming creative. You'll feel better and you'll discover some good things out of asking the question, how is this a good thing? You know, questions are the answer. You know, keeping the question front of mind. How is this a good thing? Broke down in my car. How is this a good thing? Well, the guy who came and got me off the freeway, he was the funniest fella. I would never have met him if I didn't break down. You know, there's just about nothing I don't think I couldn't reframe in a positive spin. Okay, the other thing you'll realise in that first 2 to 3 days or 5 days is you'll realise, and you start to realise how often you're framing things up in a negative manner. Okay, so after a week, what happens is you start looking at something and both sides of your brain go to talk. Because the positive spin, you might as well just give it the positive spin now. Why give it a negative framework when you first look at it and you start thinking, well, you know, it's a good thing because of this, right? Framing things up as they happen, as a positive, before you frame them up as a negative. Now, after 10 days, what happens is you start doing it automatically or you start doing it unconsciously. Earlier in the course, I've talked about Maslow's stages of learning. Okay, so you go out there and ask the question, how is this a good thing? You're on step 3. You keep doing it. And I reckon about 10 days, what happens is you start looking at everything as if it's a good thing. And that puts you in a better mood. And it makes you happier. And you're more willing to get out of bed. This is a serious technique to change how you think. I really encourage everyone to go through this. Ask, how is it a good thing? Because this skill of reframing, it can change your life. In a month, you'll be looking back on now going, well, wasn't that a good thing that I learnt reframing? Look at how much better I feel knowing this skill. And that's a good thing. Okay, this one skill alone, reframing, it can turn pessimists into optimists, disasters into opportunities, sad people into happy people, bad things into good things, frowns into smiles, victims into teachers, and accidents into luck. That's what reframing can do. It's powerful. Now, if you want to learn how to transform your life, this is a prerequisite. For a healthy mind, this skill provides the nourishment that your brain needs. Reframing is a skill that you learn. Reframing allows you to pull yourself out from a dark place and put yourself into the light whenever you want to, by yourself, forever, once you learn this. Wow!